Hey guys, on today's build, I'm building this heat reflector. I did everything with 2x4s and corrugated metal and some hinges in the back. It's very simple. I got it sitting behind my chiminea. The idea is for us to feel more heat by sitting on this side, and this thing is supposed to reflect the heat back on us. It's a very simple design, and it's kind of in a half circle. And these things move, so you can adjust them. You can just adjust them where you need. It seems to be very stable. Kind of testing them right now. I even thought about putting a support here just in case it gets really windy, but today it's actually really windy out here and I'm just trying to see if I'm going to need more support. Well guys, just keep watching. I'll show you exactly how I built this. Tried to explain it step by step, so if you guys want to build this, it'd be very simple. The materials I used are easy to find, not too expensive. So right now I'm measuring for the board that's going to go across the bottom here. So I'm going to have 3 of these metal panels. So I'm going to need a total of 6 of these types of boards. So 2 for each panel for this measurement. So all I'm worrying about right now is measuring the board that's going to, it's basically going to be like a picture frame. It's going to go on this side. And I want a little gap on each side, just a very small one. And I want to kind of make a compromise here on the measuring. I don't want to go right at 27, but maybe go up to 28 inch. That way I'll have a nice little gap on each side. I could even go maybe 27 and a half. So whatever measurement I do, I'm gonna be making this cut 6 times. So it'll be 6 boards that are identical, and then I'm gonna do the vertical because this is gonna be standing up. So the board that's gonna frame up on this side I'm gonna do 6 of those at that measurement. All right, now I'm looking for my vertical cut. I try to get my metal here cut to 39 inches. So I think I may my vertical piece of wood here, I think I'm going to go up to 39 and a half. That way I have maybe like a 1/4 inch gap on each side. So I think that'll work for this. So I'm going to have 6 pieces of this measurement. So I'm going to say 39 and a half, 6 pieces. Okay, I've got my boards cut from my first little prototype here. I'm just going to test fit it and just put the boards around my metal, just like a picture frame. It's going to go around and just see how it fits. looks like I got a pretty nice little gap here, and that's okay because I don't want this thing to be really tight in there. I'm still trying to decide how I'm gonna mount everything. I'm gonna put a either a strip of wood or a small blocks of wood to screw my metal into. So this project, I'm basically making 3 picture frames, but they're gonna just have corrugated metal as the picture. So that's kind of the big picture of what I'm doing here. And I don't want it to be really tight on the edges, just to give me some wiggle room here. So I'm pretty happy with the way it fits. Joints look pretty decent, so I can't complain there. Okay, I've got everything cut. I've got my 27-inch pieces cut. I got a total of 6 of these. I got 4 here and 2 here that I've got. They're not installed yet, but they're just mocked up. And I've got 6 of these 39.5-inch pieces cut. Like I was saying earlier, this is just like picture frames the way I have this cut. And I've got my 3 pieces of steel. There's one piece here, and then I've got 2 more pieces cut leaning up against that back there. So now I'm going to start attaching and assembling and my frames and see how everything fits. So I was going to mention real quick, I had to make another run to the lumber store, and the lumber they had available was this pressure treated 2x4s. It's really wet and it's really dark right now, so it's going to look a little different than this wood. This is actually just untreated pine. This is pine also, but it's these are from different areas. I think this wood here is sourced from Idaho, and I believe this is more southern pine. I think it's sourced in the Houston area or somewhere like that. But it's really wet and heavy, and this is real dry. But this is a lot better. It's so straight and nice. This the Idaho forest wood. It's got, I think it has some labels on here somewhere when I remember buying this one, but but it may look a little different. It might have some contrasts when I get everything put together. But this is going to be great. It's going to be nice to have it outdoors when it's all done. Hopefully, that's the goal, is just to have something that's nice to look at on the patio. So right now I'm just going to get started assembling. So right now I'm still mocking this thing up, and I'm going to show you kind of how this is going to go together. So I want this metal to sit right inside here, but I have to find a way to support it. So I think what I'm going to do is use these little blocks and screw them into the wood here, screw them in this way, and then drive my small screw through the metal and attach it here. Because I want it to be kind of in the center someplace, just so it looks kind of neat. I want the metal to be, I don't want the metal to be on top or all the way at the bottom. I kind of want it in between, so I'm trying to find a good size here to support the metal plate, or this piece of sheet metal. So I've got blocks all around. Right now they're not screwed in. I'm just trying to check and see if I like the depth that they're going to be sitting. So now I've got the sheet metal sitting in there, and it gives me it's kind of a halfway point on the wood here, so I kind of like that. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So I just showed you guys over on the frame where I'm going to use these little blocks to support the metal. So I wanted the same size all around, just so it look even and just kind of look nice. So I took this this little piece of plywood here, made a little stop so that I can just kind of make some cuts pretty quick, and I can just get some scrap wood and put in there and cut, and just keep repeating the process. Kind of helps my workflow just to make a nice, so I don't have to measure each piece basically. It's kind of a cool little trick. Okay, right now I'm just going to put a couple screws on each one of my little blocks. I already started putting some over here. I'm just working my way around. And it's just to reinforce these blocks. I put a little glue in there just to hold them in place. And now I'm just going to add some screws to each block. Alright, I got all my little blocks secured. Now I'm going to bring in my piece of sheet metal and lay it in there and start securing one screw for each block to hold the sheet metal down on there. Alright, so now I'm going to work on attaching all my pieces together. These three pieces are going to surround my fire pit. So I want to install a couple hinges on each side just to hold everything together. It's not going to fold up. It's not really meant to fold up all the way, but just to stay in this half circle design. And my goal is just to keep the wind from pushing it over, and just to have something I can move around when I need to. I'll show you what I'm using for my hardware. About four hinges, and then I'm going to use a this 14 by 3/4 sheet metal screw. They're nice. They're a nice size screw. They have a nice button head on it, just to support everything. And I'm going to do a 1/8 pilot hole for each screw, and just use a Phillips head #2 screwdriver bit. So one of those design challenges of this project that I'm just finding out as I'm going here, it'd be nice if I could fold this thing up and just to move it around, because where my hinges are going to be located, I want my hinges to look nice when it's sitting out there on my patio. So I kind of have to work around that. So this thing will fold up on this, at least for one section. You'll see, I don't know if I can communicate this issue this well here, but I'd like, it'd be nice, basically it'd be nice if this whole thing would just fold up so I could just move it around, relocate it. But this project is not meant to be portable. It's just meant to look nice on the patio and not to move around. So I'm going to put my hinge in the same location on this side as I did over here. And it'll just be a little awkward to move and to relocate, but that's okay. It's going to look nice when it's all finished, so That's the main goal here. So I experimented a little bit with maybe putting the hinge on the back side, so this thing could fold. It could actually fold backwards, but it's just not going to look right because my corners aren't going to line up the way they do over here. So I'm just going to go with the same, just make it even, and just maybe fold it up in a triangle when I move it. Kind of mock this up so you guys can see it. So basically, if I have to move this, pick it up and move it, I can do a triangle and maybe put a strap around it and use a furniture mover or something. But for right now, you know, as I go, I may come up with a solution, or even I know I could take the pins out of the hinges. That would also be an idea, and just kind of fold it up. But for right now, I'm just going to keep going with what I got. Okay, I got everything assembled. Now my plan is to secure this thing so I can move it out to the patio. So these two panels will fold up nicely, and I just clamped it so it'll stay together. And since this hinge is here on the edge, it's not going to fold up unless I just had a totally different design. So what I did was just put a clamp right here. That way it's just going to keep that piece from flopping around while I'm moving it out to the patio, and I just need to arrange it behind my fire pit. And so I think this will work. It'll be nice and rigid. That way it won't kill me to move it. So yeah, it's just a little idea I'm going to try and see how it goes. Guys, I got my heat surround set up. Oh man, I just love it. I think it looks so neat out here behind my my fire pit. It just, the metal and the wood, and with the flames out in front of it, it just looks, I just love the way this thing looks. I think it's going to be very sturdy with the wind back here. This thing is at like a half circle, so it really withstands the wind that's blowing. And today it's really windy, and I'm just kind of testing it to see if I think it needs to be supported more. Like I was thinking about putting a board like running right across the bottom here, just a little support. But right now it just looks like it doesn't need it. It seems very secure and stable, but it just looks cool. And it's just hard to describe this because I'm really feeling this heat coming off of here. And I'm a little concerned that I have it too close up here, that it might start to heat up the wood up here on my board. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. I could scoot it back a little bit. I got these pavers behind here that are I've kind of have everything pushed up against, so I could actually bring everything closer to make it work better for my application here. But this thing is too cool, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me build this thing and just seeing how it all plays out. I have a chiminea over here that I'm going to surround also. I got my little fire going over there. I'm gonna move everything. I'm gonna relocate this over there, set it up, make it look nice, and show you guys how that looks. So yeah, this has been really fun, guys. Well, guys, I got everything moved over here behind the chiminea, and it looks so cool. It looks even better, I think. I've got a couple of my plants over here, and the whole thing just looks really cool. Now if I put a little more wood in there, it'd probably get pretty hot and just blast a lot of heat back at me. So I could really feel the heat over here in my my other fire pit when I had everything surrounded it. This thing was actually really easy to move around. I just had to slide it over here on the gravel, and it was real easy to move. Man, it looks so cool over here.